We're 2,600 acres of master plan development, surrounded by 3,000 acres of wildlife habitat. From this perspective, basically everything that you can see in front of us, behind us, and to our right is part of our development. If you were to go to the center of it, it's about 5 miles in a cross-section in each direction. The land, when it was originally purchased, actually went significantly further to the south, but a lot of that was donated to either the state park or the National Butterfly Center to help with their delivery. To the National Butterfly Center and the World Birding Headquarters, it was incredibly important to us that we not destroy habitat, rather that we bring more habitat to be. And so virtually every plant that you'll find in here is either native or native friendly, and in some way serve both humans and birds and butterflies. And so, for example, you'll notice that there are plants that flower, and they flower year-round, and they're absolutely beautiful. And then right beside them may be a plant that's ugly. Well, in fact, that was planned, and it's because when the butterflies migrate in, there's two different types of plants that they need. One is a feeder plant, and that's the beautiful flowering plants. The other is what's called a host plant, and that's where they lay their larvae, and they grow by eating that plant. And so they can be quite ugly at times, but it's actually all part of the cycle. Every palm tree that you see is an indicator of it being part of Bentsen palm development, and actually these trees were all planted by Mike Rhodes. This is Smuggler's Cove, and the story behind this is when Mike first bought the property here, this entire cove was completely overgrown. Nobody knew that there was water down there. The farm was leased out to a goat farmer, and the goats apparently were allowed to run loose, and they probably sensed that there was water down here, and so they chewed a path through all of the jungle that was around it. They, for the first time, exposed that there was water there. Well, the renter called Mike and said, "We just realized there's like a water place here, and we don't know what it is." Well, in the lore of rural land like this, when you want to find something out about a piece of property or some history around it, you go to the local farmers. So Mike went to the local farmers meeting, and he said, "Hey, you know, I'm the guy that owns that property over there, and we found this inlet." And now what they found, it was completely surrounded by trees and overgrowth. It was completely blocked off from the river down on the other end. So you couldn't bring a boat in, yet there was a small boat dock up here at the end of it. He said, "This is just the most unique thing I've ever seen." And immediately somebody spoke up and said, "Oh, you found Smuggler's Cove." Well, Mike got all excited. You know, he's that kind of guy, and he thought, "Oh, this is cool. I own Smuggler's Cove." You know, so what was it? Were they bringing in drugs? Was it illegal trafficking? You know, what was going on here? And they said, "Well, no, nothing that grandiose. It was water smuggling." If you stop and think, in an area of rural farming, one of the most valuable commodities is water. And so they had completely hidden this cove so that nobody could see it, but they had pumps running out of the water illegally, and they were passing them on to different farms for irrigation. So that was really the excitement of it all. It wasn't drugs or people, it was all about water. Since that time, we've cleared the pathway out to the river, dredged out the canal, expanded the boat dock, and now we do sightseeing, fishing, bird watching tours out of here on our pontoon boat. We also allow the Border Patrol, who has water vessels out on the river, to use this as a temporary stopping place. So it's not uncommon to find one of them up here having lunch. More people at an event than we can hold in either one of our clubhouses, we bring it down here. So virtually anytime we do a joint event between the two communities, we hold it down here. And we've had live music events, huge barbecue events, just anything that requires space for a lot of people. We have a fire pit here. It's real common to come down here at night and have a big old fire and music, and they'll bring down a couple generators and set up lights. That's what Mexico looks like in this area. As you can see, it's undeveloped. It's basically jungle. There's not like cities or the crime-ridden areas that a lot of places have. And this is one of the main reasons that we don't have crime. We're actually rated the 13th safest city in the entire United States, based on statistics in a report that was done by Farmers Insurance. And so it's a very, very safe and wonderful place to live. This was the second veteran cemetery in the state, and will grow to hold way more than we would like to know about. But one of the neat things is, and what a lot of people don't realize, is that per capita, there are more veterans in the Rio Grande Valley than any place in America. And there's actually reason for that if you stop and think. Economically, they grow up fairly moderate to poor here, and it's a great way for them to come out of school, be able to get a job where they can actually make something of themselves and get further education on the GI Bill, housing assistance, things like that. So in a area like this, it's an incredibly positive thing to be able to go into the military. Of course, when you have that many military people here, you have a higher propensity to have them end up in the cemetery. Mike came to the area, and of course he's trying to build family communities here. And there's a few things that you have to have. You've got to have water, you've got to have cable and internet, you've got to have electricity, and you got to have good schools. And so he realized that the school system here wasn't the best. They were poorly performing academically. Not a huge crime school or anything like that, but just not a highly rated school. And so he was on an airplane going to the East Coast, I believe, and read an article about Tom Torkelson, who created the very first IDEA school over in Donna, Texas. And the story is just incredible. And so as soon as he got off the plane, he looked him up and got on the phone with him. And he said, as soon as he got him on the phone, he said, I'm building this community, a real family lifestyle community. It's a place that I think one of your schools would be incredible. I'd be willing to give you the land, whatever you need. I have some money. I could put $1 million or $2 million toward the development. I have a construction company. We could help with the development. What would it take to get you to bring a school here? Tom said, well, Mike, honestly, you had me at donation of the land, but I'll take everything you offer.